Welcome to the ADNA Presents. On today's episode, we've got two people whose names are basically synonymous with giving credit where credit is due in the voiceover world. We've got Joan Baker and Rudy Gaskins, co-founders of Sovas. They've built a space where voice actors can be seen, celebrated, and supported at every stage of their careers. From That's Voiceover Career Expo to the Voice Arts Awards, they've created opportunities that spotlight talent, they open doors, and they make sure our industry recognizes the artistry that too often goes unseen. And at the very core of everything that they do, it's a commitment to diversity and equity and inclusion that makes our community stronger. So I'm really thrilled to have them both here again. Please welcome Joan Baker and Rudy Gaskins. Thanks for coming.
Roy, first of all, bravo, that intro was unreal.
Nicely done, my friend. Nicely done.
One take, Roy.
So I got to ask you, obviously your passion, you're celebrating what I just did. It's clear that you understand the craft and can celebrate it.
Yes.
So I'm wondering, when you think about Sovas, what was that moment that you knew that Sovas was making a real difference for voice actors? Can I start with you, Rudy?
For me, that moment was the very first Voice Arts Awards, which was held in Queens, New York, at the Museum of the Moving Image.
Mm-hmm.
James Earl Jones was on board that day as our Icon Award winner. But he wasn't the first one up. Of course, we were extraordinarily excited to have him in the house, among some other notaries. The first person who came up to collect an award, Scott Brick, an audiobook narrator. And when I saw the tears and the expression of gratitude for his career, for an award that was not to the publisher, which he was used to being among the Audies, but for him as a voice actor. That's when I got it. And it started to sink in. This makes a difference for people. And after Scott, he opened the doors for everybody to just express from their heart. And I was in tears several times during that evening. And I recognized at that time, man, this is happening.
I mean, from being a voice actor, right? When we created That's Voiceover in 2009, what we did was we added a contest right off the bat. And it was whoever won would win a job at CBS Las Vegas. It was the first time anyone had ever done any kind of contest. And so when I saw, okay, first of all, the process that it took, there were judges, including Rudy was on the stage. We had an agent, we had a creative director from Disney, and they were on stage and they were judging the one at a time coming out and auditioning for the promo. When the winner was announced and I saw the audience reaction, I saw them on stage, their reaction, the person that won was screaming, crying. I knew we were onto something that wasn't just in the moment, that it was something that was going to last and linger for a very long time, even if we hadn't done it again. It was so profound. But from that point on, Rudy and I, we knew that there was something special that we were thinking about. And I also think what helped is that Rudy came from the producer perspective and I came from the voice actor perspective. And we came together and it was just like, we also taught together when we first met. I was already teaching voice acting and Rudy said, he came to my class and watched. And he said to me, you know what? I think I can also provide something here as well that could really make it powerful as well. So we had already done the concept of the producer aspect and the talent aspect. And we already knew that had impact. So we just took it to a new level with That's Voiceover. And then we took it to an even bigger level with the Voice Arts Awards.
You talk about the contest, and I'm also thinking about some other aspects. In addition to that, there's a competitive feel to that, but there's also a lot of giving back that I think both of you have built within the structure. So there's the scholarships, there's mentorships, and all of those actually deliver. So are there also some rewards to that as well, Joan?
There is absolutely rewards. One of the rewards to me is when I first got started, I just had my chutzpah and my instincts. I also did have a lot of support around me, but when I'm saying I was really mostly on my own, I didn't necessarily have the guidance that I wish I had when I started. So this also came out of that. So I know the scholarships are profound. I know that the programs, the education. I know that how needed that is. And I also can see from that perspective how other organizations have also taken that and done similar things. But there was no one doing it when we were doing it. So there was no book, there was no guideline. There was just the producer perspective and the voice actor perspective come together, right? So we didn't have any guides. We didn't really have anyone to bounce off of. It really was from our passion and from our two perspectives coming together.
One thing we did understand and believed in was that voice actors want to work. They're all looking for steady, gainful employment. And we wanted that's voiceover to be an aid to that need.
Yeah.
So every scholarship and every is dedicated to ensuring that someone either gets a job out of it. So there's several jobs that are won during that voiceover, or they are introduced to a facilitator like a manager or an agent or a casting director who's going to get them on a roster of some sort.
Yes.
So there's always a next step to it. The baseline is they're going to receive some level of education as a result of the scholarship or contest. But the bigger picture is that they're going to get work. And the whole idea of being able to focus on job opportunities in the context of a conference is that it's not all theoretical now.
Well,
Every panel discussion you listen to, every keynote speaker you hear, you're listening with the knowledge that, oh, in a half an hour, I'm going to be competing in the contest for an actual job.
yeah.
Or I'm going to be meeting talent agents and speed dating, and they're going to be considering me for actual work.
Yes.
And so you're listening differently when you know the whole context is this is real and jobs are at stake.
You're also going to show up differently. You're going to dress differently. You're going to, I think, be more with a professional mindset, knowing that there could be work here, there could be facilitation happening. You're going to show up differently. And that was another aspect. It's almost like it's not in vain, because that's how you'd have to show up if you went to an audition, if you met a casting director or a talent agent. So it's like you're rehearsing on a certain level, but for something real. Roy,
I love that.
what's interesting, I think, is that when I wrote a book called Secrets of Voiceover Success, it came out in 2005, and we did a number of book signings. I had 19 or 20, 21, depending on what year it came out. I had working and legendary voiceover talent in the book. So we did book signings through the Learning Annex, which was a very popular educational program. One of the last Learning Annexes we did was really incredible. We did it at the Time Center here in New York. We also had someone come up and read copy and get directed and adjusted by the people on stage, which was truly, people were on the edge of their seats. After that ended, truly the impact was incredible. And the next day when Rudy and I woke up, because we are married, Rudy said to me, what do you think is the most invaluable thing a voice actor would want? A job. And that's how it started in terms of creating that voiceover from there on, and also revealing what goes on behind the scenes, because that's also a part of that's voiceover. That's why you see all the contests, the callbacks, you see everything, you see what the people go through. It leaves people on the edge of their seat because now they're getting to see what goes on behind the scenes. That's also empowering, right?
I can feel it.
Leaves the mystery out, right?
I love this approach, and I can't help but think that with each
Uh-huh.
experience of voiceover, both of you continue to grow your own. I think about Rudy specifically. You've worked with legends from Spike Lee to Brian De Palma to Milos Forman. These filmmakers each have a different voice, and I'm thinking about your own collaboration with Joan. You're a strategist at heart. What would you say is the thing that really brings, from a strategy perspective, what do you think the wider media industry still doesn't understand about the value of voice actors?
Good question.
That's a pretty tough question. I think ultimately, with the exception of those producers who are in union shops, and so they get their direction from the union in terms of pay, the thing that people don't understand is the monetary value of voice actors. And how little it is compared to their overall budgets. It's funny how people with budgets, when you get down to the last few $1,000s, you start behaving like this was all I had to begin with, or start trying to part it out. And in that process, you don't realize how much of a person's lifetime has gone into them being that voice that you were able to just pick out of the air through a series of auditions and say, that's the one. That voice just tapped into something in you for a reason that you can't necessarily explain, but it hit something in you that said, this is the voice. That voice comes from years of training. That voice comes from dedication to craft and acting, and it means something that you were struck by it and were ready to bring them on as a talent. So I wish more producers could sit in the voiceover seat and be directed on their own scripts so they could get a sense of just how much it takes to nail it.
So
This goes on to one other additional thing.
Go on.
This is a problem that's global. The Sovas reaches out around the world for voice actors to draw them in and find out what's happening. And outside of America, the rates are even lower, much lower in some cases. And forget about the fact that the exchange rate is lower, or that their economy is on a whole different footing than ours. It's much lower comparatively. And they don't have much of a leg to stand on in terms of convincing the higher ups that they should think differently about the pay structure. And the higher ups don't want to think about it. Hey, I'm already paying you X.
Right.
Why should I pay you more?
Right.
So I think the award show is one of those things that helps the buyers ask themselves, hey, why did they win an award? How good are they? Why do they have a whole awards program dedicated to them? And maybe the next time you ask that producer who has seen the award show or been to the award show to up the pay, that they will understand, okay, yeah, there's value here.
I also want to add something, Roy, which I think really speaks to your question. Now, even though this happened in the early 2000s, I was the voice of Promax and BDA. They encompass creative directors, senior vice presidents of television networks. Like, it's a whole audience of that, right? And I was the voice for 10 years. Then Rudy and I thought, let's do a seminar that really speaks to what voice actors do and what the creative directors who make the decisions on who the voices are and who direct the voices have an impact on. So I did a seminar that taught in the audience, that taught the creative directors they each stood up. I chose 4 of them. They each stood up. They got directed by the panel. I had producers from HBO. I had a talent agent from my agent, Innovative Artists, and so on. So what they did was, one at a time, a creative director, not a voiceover talent, got up and got directed on a script, on a promo script. Let me tell you, by the end, I literally had creative directors, and I mean from Food Network, from NBC, from the top agencies, stand up and said, I had no idea what the voiceover talent, what was entail of the voiceover talent to do these scripts. And they literally said, I was jealous. They said that I thought there was easy money for them, that we were paying them easy money, but now I realize it actually takes something to do it.
And one producer actually said, I will never challenge the rates we pay the voice actors again.
Because of my seminar. And because I use creative directors in the audience to read scripts and how, or how I should say, how scratch track sounding they were, right? And then getting directed. And they realized, oh my God. And this was just one session. It was hours long, but it was one session that they realized this is not a joke. This is not easy money. This takes talent and training. To me, that was another moment that I thought, this changes the dial.
Yeah. It is that respect for the craft
that was missing.
So I hope Sovas can help to spread among the buyers and the content creators.
Is there a difference between respect for the craft and value? I was picking up
Uh,
value from both of you, but I love that you said specifically respect for the craft. What is the difference?
Value comes from your understanding of what it takes to do something, what it takes to make something, to create something. For someone to step up in front of a microphone and with their voice, find your voice as a copywriter or producer
yes.
and deliver that. When you understand what it takes and what goes into it, then you're going to recognize that there's value to it. And when it comes to, hey, how much do we pay these people in a vacuum, without the unions, without anything else? The average producer, if you said without the union and all that, and you said, oh, how much are you going to put into your budget or the voice actor who's going to be here for a half hour? They would easily say, I don't know, 1,000, 1,500, 2,000. I'm going to put that in the budget. And that often happens as a producer on the ad agency side. Many times I had people wanting to pay upwards of $2,000, $3,000 for voice acting because they were not familiar with the business. It was a company's first time bringing in a voice talent to do something. So people do recognize the value on one level, but those who work with us every day, the creative directors and producers at the television networks and at the ad agencies, they've learned to accept it as a small afterthought. As much impact as it has in the end. You think about Ving Rhames on the Arby's commercials. That shook up the whole nation. Like, what is going on?
Right.
But it doesn't have to be that big and bold for it to actually encompass the message that you're trying to put out there in a powerful way. And when you see that after the fact, how do you not go back and say, you know what? We don't pay these guys enough. Or at least say, you know what? I'm never going to complain again about how much we pay them because
Right.
without the voice, what do we have?
Yeah. And Rudy and I had literally heard that from the powers that be or the people that can hire voiceover talent. We have heard it.
That effort that both of you are putting out to make this known. And I love your distinction between the value and the respect for the craft, that the impact from the voice talent's perspective to respect what they bring and from respect of the craft itself. Let me ask you both, because you've obviously, Joan, you've got your book, your revisions of the book.
Right.
There's all the things that are happening with Sovas. I'm gesturing wildly across the entire expanse of space with my hands right now. How do you both stay inspired? What keeps the fire lit?
It's the letters. It's the social media posts that people put out there, because we also have gotten a lot of guff from people, haters, as we like to call them, and which always feels bad. And the human mind is predisposed to picking out the one negative thing said versus the 100 positive things that are said. Joan and myself remind us when we're dealing with these things, when someone writes a long letter on social media about what they got from Dad's voiceover, or how much they were inspired by the Voice Arts Awards, or any number of projects that we do. And sometimes these things just knock my shoes off.
Yeah.
And I always say to Joan, remember that, remember these people the next time someone said something nasty, because that nasty comment doesn't deserve the attention in the face of those people who are giving everything and really appreciating what we do. We dishonor them when we give space to the negative comments.
Also, I'd say, and this isn't easy to say because Rudy and I put in so much effort every single day, literally between 9 and 12 hours a day, 6 to 7 days a week. But the money that we take in all goes to the events. If people even knew how much it costs to rent the Beverly Hilton for 5 hours, right? Everything goes to that. So there's nothing really left for me and Rudy. So we're basically volunteers at Sovas. We have to make money in other ways in order to pay our bills, but literally every penny goes to the events. So it is hard to take when there is something negative that actually the person is very uninformed about what they're saying. It's always, they might take a certain truth, but they twist it and it's uninformed. And it's literally the opposite. And how many times have you heard that with people that have trolls? But what I'm saying is that the fact that we truly work for free, basically, and we have all this time, it has to be something that Rudy and I truly believe in, because it's not like we're getting paid. So we really believe in our vision. We really believe in the impact that we've seen year after year and how it grows mightily every year. That's actually our gasoline, because it's certainly not
Yeah.
money.
You've covered so much already in this interview, and I think I want to wrap it up with one more question and also open it up to you. But I, I'm really struck by our similarities of the importance of credit.
Yes.
This is a podcast about audio description, so I'm going to cobble together this question like this way.
Okay.
If someone were writing audio description of your journey with Sovas, what moment would have to be included to capture the essence of your story?
For audio descriptions,
That was good, Royce.
I just did this gesture. Ooh, I gotcha. I think the thing that I'm looking for is what's the visual moment that would be most emblematic of the essence of Sovas? What is your story? What does that look like?
I say that the description would be looking into the soul of any particular person and embracing it. And whatever that looks like, that to me would describe it.
I'm looking at the event we did at Lincoln Center. We did the Voice Arts Awards at Lincoln Center, jazzed at Lincoln Center. I can't even begin to describe how beautiful that theater is.
Yeah.
It looks out a ceiling to floor window that overlooks Central Park and Columbus Circle. And that's the setting for the stage. But the moment that I want to capture is after Joan and I took the stage at the end of the show. Joan and Rudy take the stage to close the show and say their goodbyes. And as the audience is departing from the auditorium to head out for food and drinks, they kiss alone on the stage.
Both of your stories. Okay. So I've never had a double mic drop before. I have nothing more to say. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with our audience before we wrap this up? Please also include like how we can follow you. I got nothing. I thought I got you, but you got me. This was not a competition. I know we started talking about competitions. What have we not covered that you'd love to share with our audience? And how can we follow you? Joan, could we start with you?
Yeah. So one of the things that I like to say, because it's something I recommit every morning to myself, is that please embrace being unstoppable. Because when it comes to dreams coming true, it takes every bone. Even though you may have the seed planted in you, or you've discovered the seed planted in you, it still takes being unstoppable to pursue your dreams and make them reality. So I just want to say that to other people. It's what Rudy and I do every day. We have to be unstoppable for sponsors to deal with all kinds of levels of administration that you can't even imagine. But it's about being unstoppable and being unstoppable with each other, being accountable for who you are and being responsible for your career because it's what you say you want to do. So that's my parting words. Be unstoppable.
And I guess what I would say is visit sovas.org. That's that website.
Thank you.
Don't take this to heart because we've been around for quite a few years now.
Right.
And so the website is deep.
Yeah.
Go to the website and check all the tabs. You're going to find surprises. The scholarships are there. The audition opportunities are there. Our mission statement is there, but there are other gems that you will discover if you just peruse the site a bit. So that's what I would recommend. Go become a Sovas expert.
And we also have a newsletter that you could sign up for that's weekly. But we're also updating it for our event and checking it because there are some extraordinary opportunities coming up. Okay.
And the newsletter is juicy. It's not one of those newsletters that just lift. We really provide content. There's
That
always
inspires.
at least 3 articles that deal with the business or mental health, self-help, craft, stuff that if you're in the business or wanting to break into the business will be useful to your pursuit.
Wonderful. Thanks so much for
Roy,
sharing.
thank
It's
you
great
for
to have you
being
both on the
the
podcast.
host with the most. Truly.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Roy.
Received.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.